Hello, this is Kerwin and Keith, the Father Son Galaxy, and we are here to interview David Shayne, writer David Shayne, and director Ken Cunningham of Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation. How are you doing?
Great. Thank you for having us back, you guys.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we had a great time.
Again.
Thank you so much. We totally agree. We had a great time the last time we went over Terrifying Tales, and now it's Summer Vacation.
Yeah.
Thank
Two completely different seasons.
Two completely different seasons. Yes.
So, like that said, we first started with the holiday special. Now we have Terrifying Tales. And right now we're in the summer vacation phase. So, how did the idea of creating a summer themed story even come into fruition?
Keith, that's a great question. It basically, what's funny is as we're working on one, and I may have said this to you during if you remember during Terrifying Tales, when you'd asked how did that come about, we were wrapping up the holiday special, and Ken and his team are hard at work, and I'm sort of talking with the gang at Lucasfilm and Lego. We all really enjoy working together, and we're having a great time. Like, what can we do next? And it was, after this holiday special, Halloween felt very natural. This time it sort of was the same thing. We were kind of enjoying talking about what would we do and kind of joked about holidays or whatever. And then someone mentioned like taking family road trips. I don't know if you and your dad have ever taken a road trip together. I certainly took a bunch with my parents growing up, and now that I'm a father, I take my kids on them. And we're like, well, that would be fun, and that would be really fun to see in the Star Wars universe. And oh man, can you imagine a holiday trip on the Millennium Falcon and a family trip with the Organa solos? And so it sort of started from that. We went, yeah, let's do that. Oftentimes in this creative process, particularly when you have a bunch of people together, is someone will throw out an idea and someone will go, yes. I mean, it's the old improv trick, yes, and you just keep building off of that. So it came about very naturally, and we got excited about it really quickly.
Same question for you, Ken.
Yeah, I mean, David sort of covered it. I get these gifts of these scripts from David, and I get to like let my mind go wild, and he's sort of covered it all, really.
I will say one of the things though, that like Ken for a long time, even going all the way back to the first one, the holiday special, has always wanted to do a music and dance number. And so we knew kind of early on we wanted to do the speech blanket bingo bit, and so we wanted to give that to Ken as a gift to let him run with it. And then so I feel like Ken, we finally took us a little while, but we get to you.
Yeah, I kind of constantly joke. I mean, it's not a joke. I really literally haven't wanted to do this, but I kind of throw it down. I don't know. Somebody in a meeting would say something and I would be like, oh, I'd love to, whatever. I'd throw out my fantasy, and and then it got gifted to me. It was awesome.
Okay, so second question, and this is for both of you. So from pre-production to post-production, how long does it take to make Summer Vacation or any of these shorts in general?
I'd say, David, probably a little over a year. I mean, it's hard to, when David starts working, it's probably kind of hard to pinpoint when that actually, there's a bit of fluidity going on. Like we can certainly look at the production schedule and say like X to X, but David starts working sort of ahead of time, brainstorming. And so I'd say probably a year. David,
it's around a year when someone sort of first says, what are we doing next? And like that sort of initial, what is this? I mean, there's no green light. Nobody said we're actually going to get to do this thing. It's sort of the pre-writing. So, I mean, that's like, it's even kind of like pre-production. And so it feels like about roughly a year from start to finish.
And that's
depending on the special.
Yeah, and that is sped up over the course of the three. Like we've, because it's basically the same team that's been working on these same three specials, and so we've developed a shorthand between each other, and we've developed efficiencies in production that have helped us sort of move through stuff faster. So we've had to iterate less, and so it has sped up a little bit over the course of the 3 years.
Yeah, I think the first one probably took the longest from start to finish, because in some ways we're learning to work together, and what do people bring, and sort of figuring out what these processes and efficiencies are. So Ken's right, like over time it gets a little easier to do because you've worked with the same people enough. You start to know each other's rhythms.
are the actors brought together to record in a studio, or do these guys just record their parts separately and then they all get mixed together in editing?
Ken, you want-
Yeah, sadly the former. I mean, pre-COVID, yeah, we would try and get people into the studio, and that was always amazing and lovely. Like the group of us getting to be in the same room, myself and the exec producers, and then having the actors in there and watching the energy that can happen in that situation is really great. Now, because of COVID, it's like this, like you would be the actors, David and I, the other execs would be there, and we're kind of texting back and forth stuff in reaction to what they're doing, which is, obviously not the most efficient kind of way to kind of do things. But it's amazing how well we've been able to do things this way. Kudos to everybody who's helped us sort of solve those problems and figure out all the technical stuff.
We've also lucked out. We've had an incredible director, Mary Elizabeth McGlynn. She did all 3 specials. She's a just utter pro. So she's very good. You're sort of looking at your script, looking at your screen, looking at the actor on the Zoom, but they're doing a different thing. Like it is a lot of balls in the air, and also trying, juggling all that, and also trying to get a performance out of them. And Mary is very good at doing that. While half the time, one of us is giving notes over Zoom, and someone else is, as Ken said, texting a note. And so I don't quite know how, to use the metaphor of juggling balls. I don't know how she keeps all those balls in the air, but she's extraordinarily good at it. And I do think it's it was definitely an extra challenge over COVID, and everybody rose to that challenge again and again and again and again, and with never with complaint, always eager to try to solve problems. And our actors gave incredible performances.
So David, you mentioned about improv. I wonder, do you have an improv background? Because the question I have is about the comedic timing and the humor that are in these Lego Star Wars specials, where you have to have a blend of humor that works with both, with all generations, actually, for young and for mature audiences. So do you have that background where you can know how to tell a joke and not be offensive, and make sure that, kids and adults get the joke?
Yeah, that's a fantastic. You are diving deep into the whole world of comedy there. Some of that experience comes out of, I actually originally started at Mad Magazine, and sort of that was my training ground, and learning how to do that. I've always wanted to be a writer. I don't particularly ever need to be on stage. An executive producer years ago sort of suggested to me taking an improv class, just he felt it's a good skill to have, and it is useful. The great lesson, and it's worth doing. I actually suggest all writers should do it, but if not, at least read Tina Fey's book Bossy Pants. She talks about her training, and she talks about the concept of yes and, which is, I was sort of saying, and it's like yes and, it's an additive process. It's never about tearing down. It's what else can you bring to the table comedically, and so that definitely comes in terms of jokes and offensiveness and knowing your audience. We really try to kind of hit everybody. We want something for the fans. We want something for the people who are new. We want something for the adults who grew up with this the way we did. So there'll be little Easter eggs, and you think about your audience, it's Lego, and it's going to be family friendly and something that everybody can enjoy. So all of that comes into play. Some of that's just experience, and you learn how to do it. I don't think we've ever had an issue, thankfully, with S&P. So we've managed not to go, S&P being standards and practices. So there is a final arbiter if you really do something screwed up big, but we've managed. I don't think we've ever gotten called out for that. So far so good. I say knocking wood. But and also to your question, also about improvising, on the days of the records, we let the actors record their lines, but we let them improvise. Sometimes someone on that text chain we're talking about will throw out a line that wasn't there, and it ends up being the thing that we use in the special. So that comes into play too.
So let's talk about the cast. You have an all-star cast in this series. So we have Billy D. Williams, Anthony Daniels, Kelly Marie Tran, Yvette Nicole Brown, James Arnold Taylor, Matt Lanter, D. Bradley Baker, and Weird Al Yankovic. Can you tell us how did that happen? You know, did he reach out to you and wanted to be in Star Wars, or did you contact him? Tell us that story.
We reached out to him. The character of Vic Vanko was created with him in mind, with the hope that we would be able to get him. We sort of knew we were going to do this, as we were talking about earlier, this beach blanket bingo-ish kind of song, and have these beach game contests. And it was sort of, someone really around said, "Oh, what if we got Weird Al Yankovic?" And it's like, yeah, what if we got him? So we wrote to that, which I think we ended up creating a bit of a production challenge for Ken on that.
Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, well, we just committed, like, I mean, we didn't have him, but we sort of committed to the idea, like, not just creatively, like as an agreement, you know, between us, but like, and we started in production. We just put him in. We didn't have him. We didn't have the agreement in place, but I was just crossing my fingers and like watching the schedule, you know, like starting to go away, kind of going, okay, like I'm running out of time. Like,
as any production it's certainly true in animation, it's also true in live action. Like the later and longer you get in the schedule, the more difficult, either because of time reasons or money reasons or both, becomes to change. So we just took that leap of faith, and it worked out. And then, you know, you were mentioning a lot of our other cast, and obviously some of them are folks who are from Clone Wars, playing Lego version of their characters. We knew early on that we wanted to bring Valeria back from Freemakers, and Yvette Nicole Brown, who's an enormous Star Wars fan, has always came, like she came in back, and it was just so fun to have her. Like she brings so much energy and to that character, and just makes Valeria very special. So it was really fun. And as you know, I got started in Lego doing Freemaker, so it was really nice to have her back, and Thomas Lennon playing Wade Cooper. So to bring those Lego Star Wars legacy characters back was also just a joy. And the actors are always game. They just all bring their A game and make it so, honestly, they make our job really easy, to be frank.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, wonderful. Now, for those who may not have known who Weird Al Yankovic is, for a younger generation, I know him from, you know, back in the 80s. You know, he's a singer-songwriter. He does parodies of different songs. Keith actually just listened to his parody of the Phantom Menace that he did 23 years ago. So my question to you is, to both of you, do you have a favorite Weird Al Yankovic parody?
I have a couple.
Yeah, I mean, they're probably the same ones. I mean, like, you know, I'll show my age, like, you know, Beat It,
Yeah.
you know, like all his classic 80s stuff. It was funny though, I kind of like, I showed some stuff to my daughter, and she was like, she just didn't understand it, you know, it didn't blend for her.
The eBay song is hilarious.
The eBay song, yes. Right.
What's
It's called the eBay song. Yes, a parody he did about,
right.
from the Backstreet Boys song,
Yep.
I think it is. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
eBay. My personal favorite these days, and I think also the video's genius, is Word Crimes. If you guys haven't watched it, it's a 3-minute grammar lesson done in this hilarious song, spoofing the Robin Thicke song, which is not Blurred Lines, but the Weird Al parody is incredible. The other thing that I love, and a friend of mine in college showed these to me, is that he, on every album, he would do a polka medley, because he plays accordion and grew up doing polka. So he'll take like 10 current pop songs and string them into a ridiculous polka medley. And she once, I mean, this is how long ago it was on a cassette, and she'd taken all of them, sorry Al, illegally, and put them on a tape, and made me a dupe of it. And I just thought they were so funny and like slightly off the beaten path. They aren't the big parody that usually get the attention, but they're brilliant. They're so funny to me. So I also love those. They're worth, Keith, I feel like it'd be fun, because then you'll also go back and listen to a bunch of music your dad listened to growing up. I mean, part of it is you get to learn the original song too. So
Exactly.
So
Keith, this
when
is
you're
you went first,
creating
Justin.
these
Sorry.
Lego Star Wars stories, you always include at least one character from each trilogy, whether it be originals, prequels, or sequels. Your stories bring all Star Wars fans together. But is this intentional?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, it's yeah, we really want, I think I was saying it earlier, we want something for everybody. And I mean, the tricky thing about Star Wars is there's so much to choose from that that's the hardest part of that. And that's an absolutely wonderful problem to have. So it's, yeah. And we really do kind of, you know, in the holiday special, we did it differently because we were kind of making this leap where Rey was jumping across timelines. But in the last two, it was sort of taking these mini stories and knowing we wanted to do a prequel, a main trilogy, and a sequel trilogy story. So you kind of know you want to do one of those in each and go from there.
Ken, did you want to add to that question?
No, I mean, yeah, no, David covered it all. I don't really have much to add there. I mean, other than, I guess, you know, for me personally, like it's been great because I mean, my daughter is 12 and she was, you know, 9-ish when we started the holiday special. So like her Star Wars is the latest trilogies. And so it's been nice for me to be able to kind of, you know, work on a project that brings those two Star Wars together. I mean, you know, like I was the 10-year-old in 1977, watching the first film, going multiple times, and now she's like, it was a touch point for us that was really wonderful.
What I enjoy about these Lego Star Wars stories is not only that it's fun, but there's always a life lesson to learn. Now, in particular, for summer vacation, there are 3 life lessons that we learn. You watch it. One is learn how to have fun in the moment, discover what you love to do, and learning to let go of something that you love. My question to both of you is, if you could just take one of those 3 lessons and maybe share a personal experience of when you've either learned to have fun in the moment, discover what you love to do, or learn to let go of something or someone that you love.
I'll cheat and combine all of them, much as the way they are in the special, but it does tie into summer vacation. There was a summer camp I went to that I loved, and I loved it. It was away from home, and I had this different group of friends, and the group of friends I knew back home, I sort of let me grow up and be kind of a different person. You know, you can sort of figure out a little more who you are when you don't have kind of the pressure of being around mom and dad all the time, and also your friends who know you super well. Like it's so, but you know, so I went to this summer camp for a bunch of years. I went back and worked there for several years, working with some of the same people I went to camp with. And it's like, that is a very distinct moment in time. So that is sort of letting go to that, like there's a point at which it's over. So as I got older, it was like, this is really great. And sort of, you know, I think intuitively as a kid, I sort of had the sense to realize like, this is really fun. And certainly like, by the last summer, when you're essentially the equivalent of a senior going off and graduating, knowing, well, this is it. This is over. We're not going to be campers here anymore, and sort of recognizing that is a marked in period in time. But those memories, you know, as Leia says, like they you know, and Finn says, like they don't go away. You get to have those, and you get to hold on to those, and those are very special. And it's like it's that weird, not weird, but it's that moment in life, I think, where you're crossing over a bit from childhood into young adulthood. So that's so I combined all those into one.
Yeah, I guess for me, mine, like maybe it's not a specific event, but parenthood. I've always been like, I've always been very focused, you know, like the type of person just puts your blinders on, you know, like when I was 12, 13, I was like, I'm going to be a comic book artist, and, you know, like working away at that. And then later I discovered dance. So I was like, I became a dancer, like professionally. And then I got into animation and then directing, and it's all very, you know, focused. And once I became a parent, I needed to learn to kind of like step back from that and just be in the moment with my daughter and, you know, give her time. And that, you know, that's a thing I continue to try and work on, you know, when that base personality starts to step in and I get focused again, and I go, nope, you know, I need to make room, you know.
It's a lesson I try to teach. I mean, it's funny, Ken's thing, like parenthood definitely, as I'm sure you can imagine, resonates. And like, it's a thing I teach to my own kids, where sometimes they're worrying about something, or, you know, we'll be on a vacation and they're already worrying about it being over. And I'm like, let's just enjoy the scenery. Like the vacation's going to end whether you worry about it or not. So let's try to enjoy that moment. And then, you know, sometimes it succeeds.
Well, did you want to say something else?
Nope.
Okay.
But
Well,
we had a great time. with watching Lego Star Wars Certification and also, review with you. And I really liked it because it was very nostalgic for me.
Yeah, and yeah, I agree. This was one of my excuse me for my voice. This is one of my favorite episodes. I was not expecting the ending. Of course, I'm not going to give it away, but it was very emotional for me, the ending, and it was very unexpected, and I actually had tears in my eyes when I saw the ending. So I just want to thank you both for just showing how much you love Star Wars. You could see that in the episode. Just want to thank you once again, and continue to create great stories. You're great storytellers, and you work well together. That's why you've been working for so many years. And and this cast, I expect to enjoy working with you. So we look forward to the next Lego Star Wars special. We don't know when that would be, but do you have any idea of what the next one would be or could be?
There's no plans for now, but we just keep reminding the fans, like, let the world know that you love it, and hopefully some more will come down the pike. I gotta say, Carmen, like, it's very sweet that it resonated so much with you emotionally. You may have seen me like kind of fist pump. I got there too. The emotion of it all, even working on it and helping to create it, snuck up on me too, and it's incredibly touching. I'm glad to hear it resonated with you. That really does mean the world.
Maybe a Thanksgiving episode.
Thanksgiving. Who knows?
I like it. Who
knows?
Bring you already got the tip kit model, so.
All right. Well, David, thank you once again. Ken, thank you so much. So David Shayne, writer of Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation, Ken Cunningham, the director of Lego Star Wars Summer Vacation. Thank you once again for your time. We really enjoyed talking to you. We appreciate it.
Anytime, guys. Thank you for having us back.
All right. Yes, absolutely. Take care.
Bye.